Too bad.
Yeah. What is that?
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, the first thing, and the reason why I want you to open up Noodle Tools, even if your notes aren't 100% done, what we'll be using those notes for will be incredibly assisted by making those notes more organized to create some efficiency. So Ms. Gross is going to go through how exactly to do that. And what I want you to do is work right along with her. Okay, she'll walk you through every step. And in fact, you'll notice today's agenda, it says organize your 12 notes by following directions found here. Then later we're going to start writing. And there's a step-by-step process found here. Like this is, I did some extra work, particularly with what we're going to start writing. So if you are gone in Des Moines on Monday, okay, you'll still be able to keep up with this. You might want to even get a jump on this over the weekend if you know that you're going to be gone, because the process is the same. Okay?
All right. So yeah, we're going to click found here. You're on Canvas.
And you guys don't necessarily need to click found here as long as you're handling your Noodle tools. You can just see it on the screen, but it's there when you need it.
And then you can just follow along on Noodle Tools. And so what you're going to do with the notes that you have completed, you're going to, you can see on your screen, you've got like the note cards over here, and then you have this little side screen over here that you can make bigger or smaller. So what we're going to do is add topics. You can add problem and solution. So then you'll be able to organize your note cards so they'll be easy to find and it'll be an outline. If you have subtopics, so if you know, well, some of my note cards are more like your problem ones are more mental health or physical health, you can create subtopics to help organize them so it'll be even easier when you're writing. And then you can do the same with solutions. Like these, we have what parents can do versus what teens can do. So you can go ahead and create those right now. You could do problem, solution, or if you know you have subtopics. And then once you have those created, what you're going to be able to do is just drag your note cards into those categories, and they're going to be organized for you, which is super helpful. We'll watch this super easy video of the drag and drop. You literally just drag it and drop it. And then it's creating the outline of your note cards for you. So then by the time you're done, you will have what looks like the outline of a paper, which will be super helpful when you are writing. And that's all. It's that simple. You guys have any questions? Great. So you guys can just do that on your own now.
Hey guys, you will probably have noticed this. If not, if you haven't already, you will, because this is the most exasperating thing about Noodle Tools I'm finding, that it will let you work without logging back in. So it won't tell you that your session is expired. It'll just cause you trouble. Like for instance, if you're trying to drag your note cards over and they won't drag, refresh the screen. It'll say your session has expired. So just log back in and then everything should be working. But that's like a good habit to get into. just refreshing before you do any work, so you don't like create a new note card and then have to like copy all your note card information onto a Google Doc so you can refresh without losing it. I'm not crazy about that from that standpoint. But as you'll notice here, what Ms. Grubbs will explain that you are left with is this nice list. It's a little bit easier to look at, particularly if you've gone through the effort of titling your note cards specific stuff, like helpful stuff, instead of just implicit bias 1, implicit bias 2, implicit bias 3. You might want to go back and rename maybe, so that now, like when you're thinking about how to bring it all together, you don't have to click open every single one of these notes for you to understand, oh yeah, what's implicit bias for again? Oh yeah. Okay. Now, this is pretty straightforward. So I want you to leave this here. And after I go through what's next, you can certainly return to it and continue to organize. But I want you to navigate back to the Canvas main page, back to today's agenda. Okay? Even if you're still working on your notes, I want you to pay attention to the lesson today, because I'm not going to go back and reteach this. That's really important. If you tune me out right now, you're going to have questions over this material that I've covered, and I'm going to have like a 20-minute long lesson for you to watch because I'm not answering questions. That's awesome. Don't have to. So, from today's agenda, I want you to click on this link, open and customize your copy of the assignment. As you're doing that, I want to explain what it is we're doing and why. Okay? This assignment that we're going to start is an English 9 standard that I've got to be able to certify that you can do. It's called synthesis, and it's the process your brain goes through essentially to funnel a lot of information into a manageable chunk. Okay? So the synthesis that we have done, or we will do with our research, is we have taken 4 different research sources. You've sampled and picked facts, picked lines from each one. And now what your brain is going to do in the form of writing is pull those facts together and repackage them into a paragraph that uses all of that diverse information, but has organized it into a manageable chunk to kind of make new meaning. It's not a brand new meaning, it's coming from somewhere, but new meaning for you, okay? That process of taking a bunch of different stuff and sampling it together is called synthesis. Not unlike what like your favorite song might be doing. Hip hop right now, pop music right now is sampling all the time from artists, from different genres, and those riffs that are going into music, they concoct into something new. That's called synthesis. It's just in a musical form. We're doing it with research. Okay? So what we're left with, you're going to make this copy for yourself. When you have this open, you can rename this so that your name is somewhere in there. You can take out copy of. That's kind of a waste of time. I also want you to organize this document. When you click on File and go down to Move To, so again, File, Move To, you can dump it into your English 9 folder, because right now when you create it, it's just swimming around your drive. All right? Once those 2 organizational kind of student skill stuff things have happened, you can look at the screen itself, your document itself. You need to customize from this header, which is right now perfectly formatted in MLA, Modern Language Association style. No one in here is named Sam Student. So highlight this. And then you don't even have to click delete. Highlight and just type right over your name, your capitalized first name, your capitalized last name. Then, once that's done, you'll double click up in the top, the tippy top of that page, because you'll notice it says student 1. I want you to highlight student and replace it with your capitalized last name. Okay? I shouldn't see anybody typing notes right now. Get this set up first. Even if you don't know exactly what you're going to say, we'll get back to notes. I promise. You'll have work time in just a second. I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page here. Okay, so this should be your last name and leave the page number because it will automatically, I've set it up so it'll automatically upload as you type onto new pages with the new page number and your last name. All right? Now, when you click down in the body of your document, I don't want you to start here and then hit enter because then your work will be centered and there's another step for you to do. Click somewhere over here. What you'll have is already indented. Okay? You're ready to start your paragraph. Now this, returning to today's agenda, you're going to begin writing your problem research synthesis paragraph. Okay? And I've organized this step-by-step process so that you can work at your own pace. I'm going to show you kind of how to use this resource, this slide-by-slide approach, so that especially for those of you who aren't going to be here on Monday, you can keep up on your own. But we've accomplished step 0. I started numbering the steps and I was like, no, really, we should probably put our name on the paper first. Okay? We've accomplished step 0, but what we are left with is to begin with step 1. So this was like make the copy, adjust the header, Now, we're going to type in a working topic sentence. We want this to be pretty broad so that any detailed information that we come up with about implicit bias will be more than covered, more than introduced with this pretty broad statement about implicit bias. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to just answer, well, what is the problem with implicit bias? And maybe you want to address what is the problem with implicit bias, maybe by defining. We do this in a number of different ways. But come up with something pretty broad, pretty all-encompassing so that you're not getting too detailed right from jump. Okay? For instance, mine was implicit bias is a set of unconscious stereotypes. Covers it all. Now though, who else is having a problem? You're lying to me. You think she has problems? She's got problems she didn't even recognize. There. Right. So guys, page breaking, you'll notice on your second page, and this will advance to your third page if you type on to your second page. For Works Cited. To page break, put your cursor right in front of Works Cited, Control, Enter, and it'll bump it back down for you. All right. Now, you've got a pretty broad topic sentence. I'll come around and help you formatting here as we go. Don't worry about that right now. But you got a pretty broad topic sentence. That's fine. Once you type your entire paragraph, you might want to go back and kind of fix that. Zhuzh it up maybe, so that it's more appropriate to what you have actually typed in your paragraph, but wait until you're done. Okay? Now, you're going to turn your attention to just your problem notes. Okay? Your problem notes. And from those problem notes, you're going to start making decisions. Okay? Step 3 is deciding. Now that I've started this paragraph, I have a choice. And it's one of two things I'm going to decide to do next. Do I want to continue my paragraph with explanation? Because based on what my topic sentence said, I probably need something from my own head before I dig into any of the notes that I've taken. Or is my topic sentence like explanatory enough that I could hop right into one of my notes? Either way is fine. You just have to make a choice and know why you're choosing it. All right? Now, if I choose to use a note first, you need a citation that will go at the end of that sentence. Even if you want to use a paraphrase of the information you gathered from that source. So, the citation is the author's last name. It's the first thing that will come up ordered first in the list of your citations. Okay? This will go in parentheses at the end of the sentence. Just like this. Desmond Harris, close parentheses, period. Okay? You include it even if you're using one of your paraphrases. And then know that if you are borrowing from what you pasted into the direct quotation area of your Noodle tool note, you want to put quotes around it. Okay, so for example, my second sentence included one of my notes. I have an introduction, a little preview, okay? Because I don't want to drop quote. We'll talk more about that later. But these stereotypes include unconscious racial associations that affect actions. Citation, and then end my sentence. Okay? Step 4 is making this decision again. I decide again, staring down my third sentence, well, do I want to continue with another note, or should I stop, and because I maybe just used a note, I may need to explain what it was I meant. That's what I decided to do here. What I want to avoid is creating a paragraph that is essentially a paragraphed list of notes. That's not synthesis. That's a paragraphed list of notes. Okay? You've got to splice in your explanation around there to kind of like tie everything together. So I use explanation from my own brain next. Because the beliefs affect the way people act, they can be especially dangerous, and they are extremely widespread. I know I'm blasting through this, but I'm going to give you work time where you can kind of go at your own pace. But step 5 is repeating 3 and 4 over and over again, making those choices. Do I use a note next? Do I need some explanation? Do I need some explanation? Do I need a note? Okay? You are going to be a slave through this section to the flow of how information is presented. Remember, it is not just showcasing research. You are writing to communicate ideas. Okay? If your writing does not actually help anyone understand what it was that you read in your research, then you're wasting your time because your writing isn't actually communicating a whole lot. All right? Now, when you think that by splicing together your own ideas and information from your notes, that you think your paragraph is pretty well done, you will throw in an insight or some sort of clincher sentence to wrap everything up. All right? So what I'm left with might be something that looks like this. It's a paragraph, but it's a high school third try paragraph. It's a big old bad boy. That's going on the recording. Big old bad boy. So, we read something like this. Implicit bias is a set of unconscious stereotypes. These stereotypes include unconscious racial associations that affect actions. Because the beliefs affect the way people act, they can be especially dangerous, and they are extremely widespread. From research, scientists know that people have implicit biases over basically everything. That ranges from height, weight, race, gender, and age. Even people who are against racism and sexism have implicit bias. And they can have those biases against themselves. The problem is that no one can just look within themselves to see these biases. Many people have no idea that they're walking around carrying racist or sexist assumptions. The other issue is that these biases have been drilled into people's head from a young age, as early as 5 years old, from parents, society, culture, and things people observe. An implicit bias becomes an automatic connection people make, like thinking of jelly when someone says peanut butter. The most dangerous associations are the ones people don't realize they make, the implicit ones. So let's look and make sure that I've got what I need to have, okay? To be proficient in this, I need to use more than just one source. Certainly more than one note, that goes without saying. But I need to sample from more than just one source to even be proficient. To really get into mastery range, I'm going to borrow from at least 3 sources, 3 different places, authors. I've included in my work both quotes and paraphrases from my notes, and I've woven together my notes with my own ideas. So let's look at how this breaks down. There are my 3 different sources that are properly cited. Then, here's my combination of direct quotation and paraphrase. Notice I'm a little bit short on direct quotation, but I've got both in there. Again, I'm a slave to flow. At this point, as long as I can sample both, I'm okay. And lastly, I need an even combination of notes and my own ideas. So by maybe the end of class on Tuesday, definitely Thursday before we turn this in, we're going to be doing some of this highlighting to just make sure, kind of auditing our own paragraphs to make sure we have exactly what I need you to have. All right? But at this point, the step-by-step process is here for you to work through as you need to. Okay? I suggest having the step-by-step PowerPoint up in one tab, your Noodle tools up in a second tab, and your paper up in the third tab, okay? And just step by step, make sure you're checking in with yourself. As someone who hasn't done this degree of research on implicit bias, would they be able to pick up what I'm putting down here? You're hoping to say yes. Yeah. You're hoping that you convey it in a way, you're sort of like teaching it. Okay, anybody picking up this short piece of text that you're writing in a paragraph is going to have a much greater understanding of the problems associated with implicit bias when they're done reading your work. Okay? Nolan, question before I turn you to work.
So this is a due
You can kind of think of the timeline being if you have 3-4 sentences written today, like you understand where you're going with your problem. You may already know like which of your notes are going to make the cut into your paragraph. Okay? You're kind of smooth sailing, like the rest of it will easily write itself on Monday. You'd be in really good shape at the end of today. Monday we'll finish up problem paragraph, write solution paragraph. Tuesday, we'll finish solution paragraph, start on revision stuff, and talking about choosing topics for your independent research project. This will be due after revision on Thursday when we get back after the trimester switch. Okay? use time really well. Call us over if you need any help. But at the end of the day, the best way I can serve you is just making sure that you are using time really wisely right now. So I want you to stay in your assigned seats. If it will help you to listen to music, and you can tell me right now non-verbally that you're gonna certify that the amount of energy it will take you to put music on is far less than the amount of energy you'll expend on writing your paper or finishing up your notes, I'm fine with that. Okay? I want you to not waste more than 5 seconds of your life over the next 10 minutes. And nobody better pack up early today, or else we'll be hanging out after school anyway. Love you, work hard.